On my mirror, start to blush when somebody says your name. In my stomach, there's a pain. You walk in my direction, I go the other way.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kaylin and we are back with another video. Today's video is the March wrap-up, reading wrap-up. So I'm just gonna tell you this right now. I don't know what it is. I think March was like moody March for me. I was not in the mood for anything like towards the end of the month, and it's actually like kind of crazy because I feel like January, February I was on a roll, and then March came and I started off on a roll and then it just like plummeted. So bad idea for me to pick 10 books to read for March. I did not read all 10 books. I ended off March reading 7 books, and yeah, I just could not. I tried to open up some of the other ones and I just couldn't get into them, and I kept putting them down. And towards the end of the month I kind of was just like watching TV, relaxing, hanging out with hubby. Like I did not want to read. So March was a moody March. Okay, we're gonna start with the first book I read, which was actually on my Kindle. This was such a cute book. So it's called Anatomy of a Meet Cute by Addie Woolridge. I'll put it right here. I'll read a little thing for you. So sparks fly when an OBGYN butts heads with a doctor at her new hospital in this delightfully charming romance about bad timing, good friends, and fresh starts. The last thing I ever expected was to insult a colleague before I even started a new job. But here I am, already on thin ice after I mistook a fellow doctor for a patient on a bad drug trip. Oops. No matter how handsome or infuriatingly aloof he is, Grant Gow isn't going to spoil my fresh start. Instead, I'm going to keep myself busy with my roommate's work and starting a new program to improve pregnancy care in the community. But getting the hospital bigwigs on board with my idea is proving to be more difficult than I anticipated, and I may be forced to swallow my pride and ask Grant for help. But will working with Grant bring us closer, or will I be crushed under my ever-growing list of responsibilities? So this one was so cute. I'm biased, but I so far all the books that I've read that are like medical or something like that, I love them. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I thought that the couple's connection was cute. I guess it was kind of like enemies to lovers for a bit. I liked the work that the main character was doing as far as like being a doctor and trying to advocate for her patients and make things happen. And I just love seeing that aspect of things because she was working and trying to do things for a community. The hospital was a smaller community. The patients who were OBGYN patients did not have access to the best care. There wasn't many programs out there for these moms during pregnancy, and I'm like a maternal health advocate because of things that I went through. So I especially probably took heart to this book for different reasons, but I just loved her passion for her job, her career. There was like family stuff in there, like her and her relationship with her mom was a little bit rocky, and I liked that kind of aspect and how they worked through things, and that was really, really good. There was just so many things in the book that I appreciate. Like I don't like books that are just single focused on one thing. Like I like getting a little bit of everything. The side characters, her friends, like her roommates, they were great. They were also in the medical field. They were all busy, but they all helped her out. So there was like friendship themes in the book. The romance was romancing. I loved Grant. It wasn't too much spice. I want to say there wasn't any spice in it at all, actually. I can't really remember, so don't quote me, but I don't really think there was much spice. If so, it was very minimal. But yeah, I thought overall it was a great book. I gave that 4 stars. So that was my first book. The second book I read was Don't Miss the Moment by Cheryl Brady. This is one of my Christian reads that I read. Basically, this book was just talking about like God moments in our lives and how God uses the insignificant to create the extraordinary. And we usually look for like these big alarms, flashing lights, signs that like point us to like our revelations. And when we don't see them, we might think that God's forgotten about us, but he hasn't all along, and he never will. And this book just pointed out all the little moments in our lives that we shouldn't miss because it's truly God working. So I like that book a lot. I rated that one 5 stars. Next, y'all, the next book I read, Fourth Wing. Y'all, well, if you didn't see the vlog, watch the vlog because I read this one in the 24-hour reading challenge. I loved this book. And I think maybe why my reading my reading in March didn't go well is because I should have just went right into Iron Flame after this, because I feel like my mind was elsewhere, and I feel like right now my mind is just in like a fantasy place. Like no other books are sounding good to me but fantasies right now, and I didn't listen to myself. So that's probably my fault for trying to continue to read these books, and my brain's like, girl, we trying to get into some fantasy, we trying to see some action, and I wasn't listening. So anyway, Fourth Ring, I loved it. I loved Violet. I love that she basically was like an underdog. I was so happy that she pushed through everything despite what people were saying. I love the action part. The twists at the end, are you kidding me? The twist at the end? This is why I should have just read Iron Flame. What else? I love the romance. Okay, the forbidden love. I love it. I love it. I love it. Some of the characters in here got on my everlasting nerves that were trying to hold her back and tell her, like, stop her from doing things because of her being like weak, or her, you know, not being or not even wanting to be a dragon rider in the first place. So I did not appreciate those people. Violet went through a lot. She went through a lot, and her perseverance and her strength was just like admirable. And I think that's why I like fantasy so much, because these characters have so much strength. They have so much, like, oh my gosh, just grit, and I love it. So this was 5 stars, baby, okay? I put on my Goodreads that it's giving Divergent and a little bit of Hunger Game vibes with dragons. I love this book. I hate that I waited so long to pick it up because I was definitely missing out. I love the progression of Violet. I read this book rather quickly, and now I can't wait to get into Iron Flame because the cliffhanger I was left with at the end of this book had my mouth wide open in shock. So that was that. Next book I read was Betting on You. Lynn Painter has a special place in my heart, and I really want to read her new book, the one with like about like the wedding crasher or whatever. I love Lynn Painter, okay? This is my second book that I read by her, but I gave this one 4 stars. Her young adults are just, they're so cute. But the new one that just came out, I think, is an adult romance. So I'm interested because I never read one of her adult romances, but I just like her writing. It's very easy to follow. So on my Goodreads, I wrote, Lynn Painter really does a great job with her YA romances. I enjoyed this book a lot. I love the characters, their banter, and the overall story. The discussion about divorce and the emotions I felt for the characters navigating this was one of my favorite parts. It was so raw and real and made me think about how the family dynamics shift in divorce and the toll it takes on each person affected. The romance was cute, and I definitely would recommend this book. It was a cute, fluffy read. So there you have it. It was great. Then, y'all, I read Long Overdue, rather, whatever, however you say it, The 7-Year Slip. I feel like people are going to be mad at me for these next 2 reviews, but I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good. I gave it 3.5 stars, okay? So on my Goodreads, I said, I actually really enjoyed this book. It was written beautifully and touched on grief in a really realistic and heartfelt way. I loved the time slip idea of the book and the magical apartment, but at some points the back and forth of the time slip was a bit confusing, which it was in some points. It, like, how it went back and forth, like at some parts of the book I was trying to keep up, and then I was kind of getting annoyed because I had to use like brain power to figure out, like, okay, are they in the future, are they in the past, was like, where are we at? The book was told from the FMC's point of view, so the female main character point of view, and I really think the book would have been golden if it was dual POV and we got to see the male main character's point of view throughout the entire book too. So that I didn't even notice until like the end. I was like, something's just weird. Like, you got a little bit of him, but I needed more. And I just realized that after reading this was the first book I read that was like a romance that didn't have dual POVs. I actually think I search out dual POVs because I like to see both sides of the character, because like I said, I need a well-rounded picture and story from all sides. I need all the side parts. I need the middle. I need the plot. I need everything for me to really enjoy a book. So when I feel like things are missing, that's when my ratings start to go down. So I said I think it would have connected me to the characters and their romance a lot more, but I do recommend, and I did enjoy, it was a quick read as well, which it was. It was a very quick read. I read this one in the 24-hour vlog too, and yeah, I just wanted to feel more connected. For everyone that this was hyped up for me, and I was disappointed because it was so hyped up, like 5 stars, 6 stars. I was waiting for this, and it was just like, it was just good to me. It was just a good book, but I needed more to be invested in the romance. It just didn't do it. Like, I feel like this will be one of the books that, like, after a while, I forget what even happened. And I hate that for us. But it is what it is. Okay, so, y'all, I'm sorry. The next book I read was Magnolia Parks. I feel like it was very hard to rate this book. I was going back and forth between a 3.5 stars and a 4 stars. And mind you, I'm not doing all that 3.75, 3.95. I can't. It's 3, 3.5, 4. So take it how you want it. But I rated this 3.5 stars because myself, I cannot stand, and this is in all books accordingly, I cannot stand miscommunication. I cannot stand when characters don't communicate and just say how they feel. It just frustrates me. That's not a fun experience for me. It frustrates me because in real life, I'm the type of person who is I say exactly what is on my heart. I will not leave you guessing. So it causes more problems when you're assuming and you're thinking and you don't know because you're just not asking. Like, ooh, it does it for me. I just can't. I am a big psychology girl. I'm all about communication. I'm all about therapeutic communication when needed, but just communication. You have to communicate in relationships. That is like my biggest thing. This relationship was toxic. Okay. I love like reality TV. Like, oh yeah, I love it. That's why I enjoyed like the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is good. But it just felt like throughout the book, it was the same thing, like over and over again. Just something like a little bit different, but the same thing over and over again. I appreciated the characters' love story and how like they are in love with each other. Like, it is like there is nobody coming in between them. Even if there is somebody, there is nobody coming in between them. And I felt every part of each of the characters. Like, when something would happen with Magnolia, I felt for her. When something would happen with BJ, I felt for him. But then there was parts where I was just like, if you guys can just have a conversation, we could get through this. We could try to get through this. Like, we can. And then it'd just be like, oh, back at it again. Like, so that was my only thing. I wrote on Goodreads, absolutely a toxic romance. The back and forth was crazy. I liked each of the characters and getting to know them, but man, BJ and Magnolia are just straight up toxic love. My heart feels for both of them, and I can't wait to get into the rest of the series to see how everything plays out. I love the side characters. Henry, I loved. Christian. Oh, I felt for Christian, okay? And that's why I think that I plan to read Daisy Hates, actually, because I think that story is gonna do something a lot more for me. Like, I feel like there's a lot more to unpack over there. So I'm excited. Stay tuned for the Daisy Hates vlog, because I'll do a separate reading vlog, I guess, for that one. But I feel like I'm gonna like that one more. But yeah, I liked it. I think this series is gonna be good. Jessa Hastings, this woman can write, okay? The way she compared things, I don't know how you say it in like book terms, like how you learn in school. I don't know how you say how she writes out like the sentences of like comparison, like when she compares the characters' feelings to things, like you could really feel what these characters, like I was sitting there like I feel you. If you've had someone before that you know you probably shouldn't be with, but you keep going back and forth, y'all keep basically messing each other's lives up because you just can't separate. You can feel for Magnolia and BJ, and I liked BJ, y'all. I liked him. I really felt for my boy. I really did. And I don't know how, I haven't really listened to what other people think about BJ, but I liked him. I liked Tom. May he please be blessed, because all of them deserve more and they deserve better. And they all deserve the love, but we just have to work on it. I saw a video, I forget who it was, this new booktuber that I started watching. She was like, I have one word for these characters. Therapy, 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 therapy. And yes, ma'am, therapy will do them well. But all right, that's it, y'all. Then the last book that I read is Bamboozled by Jesus by Yvonne Orji. This is hilarious, okay? If you want a Christian read that is hilarious, she kept it real. I'm cracking up every chapter. She kept it real, and it just like opened my eyes to so much. Basically, she talks about how Jesus bamboozled her into the life that she's living today, and it was just by like following him, listening to him, and being obedient. That's like the big gist of it. And how we can let Jesus bamboozle us in a way, to the life that he wants us to be living and has created us to live in our purpose. So I really enjoyed this book. I highly recommend it if you read Christian reads. And yeah, I love God, and I always read. I have a whole bunch of Christian reads. I have a literal bookshelf of just Christian reads that's bigger than these bookshelves. So every month I read at least 1 to 2. So definitely recommend this one. I gave this one 5 stars. So to end this video off, because it's long, I'm sorry, but Magnolia took up most of it. The books that I did not get to, let's talk about them. I didn't get to The Woman. Okay, I know that I have seen nothing but amazing things about this book, like 5 stars. I have some coworkers that have read this book and said it was good, but they said it was really like sad and like heartfelt, and some parts of it were emotional. And this month I just didn't have time for that. I didn't have time for like the emotions, and like I'm a nurse, so it's just like I'm gonna feel that even harder. So I am going to read this soon, but I'm not sure if I'll read it this month, in April, or I don't know, but I definitely will be reading it. Maybe I'll read it at the same time as something in April. So then The Love Hypothesis I didn't read. I might actually save this for like the summer. I don't know. Powerless I plan on keeping in my TBR to read April. This one's going to fall over into the next month. The Body Keeps a Score. I told y'all I couldn't do much brain power this month, and I just needed a story to just like fall into. I actually think that my mood right now is like series, because I want to be invested and get more of the story and get more and get more. So I am going to save this book for another time. I might just read like a chapter here and there, but it's giving like textbook. I opened it up and I was like, I'm not going to be able to comprehend at this time, so still gonna read it, but just don't know when. Then my time travel mood went out the door after 7 years slip, so I did not touch into this one. I will pick this one up back later because I love time travel, and I think that this is going to be a really good one, but I want to give it my all. I don't want to read books when I'm not in the mood, because that's going to mess up my ratings, my feelings on it, and I just want to get the best experience possible. So gonna save that one. And then Getting His Game Back, I actually am currently reading, so you'll see this is going to go into my April TBR. I'm only like 4 chapters in, but it's really good so far. I think it's going to be a cute like short read. I picked it up towards the end of March, and then I was like, you know what, I might as well just wait. So I started a little bit of it, and I'm going to finish it in April. So that and Powerless are going into the April TBR. These ones are all going to go back on my shelf, and that is all that I have for you guys. So stay tuned, because I'm going to put out the April TBR video this Sunday, so you'll see what else I'm reading other than those 2 books. And I'm not picking a lot this time, because right now my mood is still very much the same, so it's gonna be minimal. And I'm gonna try to read some Kindle reads, because sometimes I just didn't even feel like holding the book. Bear with me. Like I said, it was a moody March. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in April TBR on Sunday. Bye guys.
The reason why you always on my mind, you come around like it's